Hello, students. How are you? Nice to meet you once again, and welcome to phonics lesson with Teacher Solo. Today, we will continue from where we stopped last week, the letter sounds. Please permit me to share my screen with you. Letter sounds. Can you repeat after me? Beautiful. Before we learn new sounds, let's review what we learned last week. S, A, S. Again. S, A, S. This way, the sounds we learned last week. Today, you will learn something new. Let's get started. We start with letter I, and the sound for this is E. E, like E, E. Look at my mouth. E, E. Can you do it? E. Fine. It's used in words like E, ink, ink. E, iguana, iguana. Please remember to repeat after me. Next slide. E, insects, insects. And next one, we learn another sound. The sound for letter P. You do as if you want to put off a candle or light. Hold your hand like this is my candle light. Do that well. Let me see. Can you do it? Everybody, try to off a candle light. Beautiful. So the sound for this letter is P. Let's see words that it's being used. We have it here as in pan, pan, the instrument we use to fry things. Next, pin, pin. Can you repeat? Pen, pen, what we use to write things. Pen. Let me hear you say it. Can you do it? Next one, another sound. The sound for letter N. Like airplane, flying the sound of an airplane. Can I hear you do that? Just fly like an airplane. That's a sound for letter N. Can you do it? Beautiful. Now let's look at words that this sound is being used. First one, next, next. Can you do that? Next. Next one, as in nap. Nap is a short sleep that we take, especially in the afternoon. Nap. Next one, nest. Next, a place where birds um, sleep. The bird's house is called nest, where they live. And next, now let's see how to practice this sound. Remember, you to see how to produce the sounds. We've learned 3 sounds today. So let's see how to practice the sound. E, P. Now let's look at them, the practice. Okay, students, look at the pictures. Which of these pictures begins with the letter with the sound E? Let's look number 1 with the sound E. Next, number 1. Number 2 and number 3. Which of these pictures begins with E sound? E. Is it number 1 or number 2 or number 3? I don't know. Now let's take a look at them. Number 1, what is number 1? Nest. Begin with E? No, not this one. Surely not. And number 2, pan. E. No, there's no E. And number 3, insects. Insects. Yes, it begins with an E sound. E. Insects. Beautiful. Now let's look at another slide. Which of these pictures begins with P? Remember the puffing sound. Picture number 1, number 2, and number 3. Which of them begins with P sound? Let's look at them. What is number 1? Number 1 is pen, and number 2, net, and number 3, ink. So ink does not have the P sound. The same with net. So the correct answer is pen. Pen. Let's look at the next one, students. Which of these pictures begins with the sound? Remember, the sound of the airplane. Sound. Is it picture number 1 or is picture number 1? And picture number 2 and picture number 3. So which of these begins with sound? What is 1? Let's find out. 1, P. Does it begin with N? No, it doesn't. Picture number 2, nap, short sleep, nap. And picture number 3, iguana. So the picture with the initial sound is nap. Picture number 2 is correct. The correct answer is number 2. Now let's look at another slide. Can you guess which of these pictures begins with this we did last week? So I want you to do it, guess. Which of these begins with we have picture number 1, number 2, and number 3. Remember our activities last week. So can you do it for me? What is picture number 1? Spider. Spider. And number 2 is arrow. And number 3, tortoise. So the picture that begins with the sound is tortoise. So tortoise is correct. We look at the next slide. Which of these begins with S? Remember the first sound that we learned. Picture number 1, picture number 2, and picture number 3. Which of these pictures begins with S? What is number 1? Let's look at what they are. Picture number 1, teacher. Does it has? No, no, that's not it. Number two, arm. Does it has? No, that's not correct. And picture number three, snake. Snake. Picture number three is correct. Snake. Good job. Now let's look at these. Which of these pictures begins with R? Remember the R sound, the second sound that we learned. Picture number one, number two, and number three. Which of these begins with R? Remember the initial sound. Let's look at it. What is one? Table. Does it begins with R? No. Number two, apple. Apple. And number three, tennis. Tennis. So the correct answer is number two, which is apple. Apple. Good job. Now let's review the sounds we learned today. The first one, E. P, and E. P, These are the three sounds for today. Please try to practice them and see how they're being used in words. Hoping to see you very soon in the class. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.